Girl, you've learned that people-pleasing doesn't work. You have a purpose, a plan to achieve, and a point time for your passion projects. You finally value your thoughts and ideas. Now you're putting them into action. Mom guilt is in a box where it belongs. You care for those who need you completely, except that you've made yourself a priority too. Being creative and focused helps you get your zest for life. You, my friend, you think enriched. Hey, welcome to Think Enriched. I'm your host, Amy Robles. Really excited to have you here with us today. This episode is about giving you more insight on how to allow yourself more time to create. And in particular, we're really going to focus on the Mindfully Alive retreat. I have a guest for you that really has some great insights, and we're going to dig deep into that. Now, this free retreat is for you, my friend, that woman who is working, serving, giving to so very many. And sometimes when you're doing all of that and looking out for everyone else, it's hard to make sure that your cup is filled, that you are taking care of yourself. And the experts that are speaking at the retreat are sharing insights on different topics like stress and creativity, managing those creative blocks, how to find creativity while you're stuck, money, art, and stress, and so many more different topics that we're going to talk about. And I'm so excited I get to be one of the speakers sharing insight with the retreat. It's completely free to sign up. We're going to talk all about what happens in the retreat. The link is right in the show notes, the very first line, so you just click on that, go ahead and sign up. A free gift for you, my wonderful, hardworking, giving, loving power women. And with that, let's get with it. Get that in your purse. For those of you just joining us, this portion of the show, Get That in Your Purse, is kind of like your toolbox. You know that woman that has that Mary Poppins bag, and it doesn't matter what time of day, where you're at, or whatever the situation is, she has it. She has everything from the Band-Aid to the little safety pin. She's that woman, right? Power, amazing, strong women have their bag, their toolkit, that purse that has everything in it. And as I was thinking about, especially in the past few weeks, about what I can give to you, what I can do to serve and really help build up you, I've decided to do something a little bit different. You can join me every day for 5 minutes for you. And what is 5 minutes for you? I have lessons and thoughts and funny stories and these situations where you think it's going to go one way and you're like, ah! And it doesn't work out. And then you have these days of chaos and insanity. And I get it. And that's exactly what we talk about. Just different challenges, different things for you. And I send that email in the afternoon. So hopefully at day's end, when you're just unwinding, kids are gone to bed, everyone's relaxing, and you're just taking those five minutes just to breathe and unwind, that's when you should read the email. That's when I'm talking to you. Celebrate your weirdness, celebrate the funny stories, really look and value ourselves as women. I think sometimes we are doing so much for so many others that we forget to just really step back and appreciate that. So you can sign up for that. If you click on the show notes and go to 5 minutes for you, it'll take you directly there and you can join us and get your own copy every single day, a little bit of that. Speak the lingo. The next portion of the show, Speak the Lingo, is all about one term, about something to learn, sometimes just being around the people in entrepreneurial world or attorneys or doctors. When you're able to actually use the terms correctly, it gives you insight and focus. Today's term is create. And looking this up, there's so many different interpretations and definitions of create. The one that really sticks out to me is to cause to come into being as something unique that would not naturally evolve or that is not made by ordinary processes. Think about that. So much of our life we are creating. It wouldn't naturally happen. We have to step in and make it happen. That can be with your business. It can be creating something, dinner. It can be something for your family. It could be in so many capacities of life. It's incredible to see what we do to create. Not only is it something that we have to do, it's something that we can really enjoy and get completely immersed in. In fact, that state of being immersed and absorbing and in the moment so much where you're focused on creating something, you lose track of time, you forget whatever else is happening in life. That's called the state of flow. That's a book you really might want to look into, Flow. I'll actually put that in the show notes so you can see. Ask yourself a few of these questions while you're considering. How are you creating in your own life? Are you really getting creative with the way you prepare dinner? Are you thinking about what's next in your life? Are you working really hard on your physical fitness so your body is your creation, what you're really working to develop? Or if you're really not focusing on creating, consider what is keeping you from being creative. Are there a couple of things that are holding you back? Have you figured out how you can overcome those things? Do you find yourself immersed in the creative process? And what kind of activities would allow you to become more creative? Whatever just comes into your mind, there's something you want to do a little more of that. Tap into that. Really find a way to have just a little bit more creativity in your life. Is it redesigning the way your living room is? Is it fixing something? Did you used to paint in high school and you haven't done one thing with a brush since? I understand. That's what this is all about, this episode. Finding ways to have more creativity and express yourself even more. Today's leadership term, create. All right, today on the show, I'm delighted to have a guest that sometimes you just meet people and you just love them, and you think, man, this person is doing some things. They are so impressive. And that's how I feel about today's guest. And what she is working on is something that I think will inspire you as it has me. Welcome to the show, Julie Merritt.
Hi there, Amy. It is amazing to be with you. Thank you so much for having me.
Delightful. As you can hear from her lovely accent, she's on the other side of the pond. Where are you, my dear?
I am actually in Wales, although the accent is very, very plummy English.
Plummy English? What makes it plummy English?
Oh, it's kind of more Queen's English, so kind of what you'd hear on our news broadcasts, rather than having a regional accent.
Oh, that's awesome. That's really cool. So the reason that Julie and I have connected is she is working on something that really has been impressive to me. I like the way that she's just gone after it, the way she's connected with women, and the way that she is reaching out and really helping not only her audience, but so many creative types. The people that listen to this show, Julie, just so you know, are a lot of women at home that are building their own business, that are just getting started. And that's a big thing. That's a big step into a totally different ballgame. And so tell us about what you're doing with first your business, and then we'll talk about the retreat in a minute.
Sure. So my business, I am an artist. Well, by training, I'm actually an occupational therapist. And as an occupational therapist working in mental health, I've used art for the last 20 years to really help people's emotions heal. And so that is at the core of what I do. What I do now is I coach artists to be the best that they can be. I just take talented artists and enable them to become talented business people. So talented creatives. And just one of the things that really frustrates me is, as creatives, we love what we do. We are amazing at what we create. But part of being a creative is we put something of ourselves into what we make. And then when it comes to sell it, it's so hard because it's like we're selling part of who we are. Kind of like money and creativity becomes such a mess and such a mangle together. But I just believe that as artists, as creatives, we just need to learn one or two things to really set us on the path to being able to live a life that we love and have a business that we love, doing the things that we love.
Oh, that's awesome. I can just feel my friends that listen to the show about putting your whole self into the project and then selling that and wondering, do they really value it? Do they appreciate the work and the time that I've put into this? And what would you say to that person that has a hard time letting go of those pieces that they've worked so hard to create?
I think there probably is kind of two answers to that. One of them is it can be really helpful to get somebody else to sell it for you. So, for example, my husband is creative and he actually has his own business creating digital downloads, but he finds the marketing element of that hard because he's done it himself. Whereas I can just go, oh, I know what I can say about that. That's just really cool and that's really cute. And that's just can be sold really easily. But he can't find those words because it means something different to him. So sometimes it's getting somebody else to write the words. But sometimes it's about saying, you know something, there are some pieces which I keep, and I keep the originals for myself, and the originals stay mine, but maybe I'm going to make a print of it. So you're not selling the original, the piece that has your heart and soul in it, but you're selling an image of that. So it's slightly disconnected again. So sometimes it's about doing things that actively disconnect you from the piece. And sometimes it's about time. So selling something a little while down the line, because oil paintings take 6 months or so to cure. So by that time, there's been a gap since you made it. So sometimes it's about time, and sometimes it's actually about saying, you know something, I am a creative, yes, but if I want to be an entrepreneur, if I want to have money, then I have to somehow just take the bull by the horns and do it, even though it feels horrible. Because actually, if I don't have the money to create anything because I haven't sold anything, then I can't make anything new. So it's kind of almost comes out of necessity that you have to sell something. So you have to say, this is just something that somebody else may or may not like. And I get money, then I get to have the joy of recreating in the future.
So insightful. I think a lot of times we just get right into the process of creating that your perspective, actually seeing the business model, seeing what I have and seeing that as a piece of who you are, not completely who you are, really stands out. We met, you are working on and created the Mindfully Alive Retreat. First of all, that is such a killer name. I love it. Every time I read that, it just makes me think, you know, there's so many people that I know that are not mindfully alive. They go through routine, they go to regular cubicle land, they work, put in their time, and then they leave. They've forgotten the life, the zest, the good stuff of life. Is that why you named it this, or where did the name come from?
It came from that sense of, I guess I was struggling myself, and I was thinking, what is it that I need for myself? I need to be creating. I need to be selling things. I need to be this. I need to be a good parent. I need to be that. And I had all this list of things that I need to be, and I was kind of beginning to feel overwhelmed. And it's like, oh. And what I do every morning is I do a sort of mindfulness meditation every morning. I basically sit and draw thousands of circles, which is what turns into some of the art that I sell. But as part of that, it was like, actually, what I need is not all these things of what I should have, could have, ought to do. What I need is to be in the moment, because when I'm in the moment, that's when I'm alive. That's when I feel connected to who I am. That's when I feel that peace and that kind of serenity. And it's like, that's what I want. I don't want to have, I've got to do this, I've got to do that, I've got to do this. I have got to do all those things. But when I am calm and when I'm centered, I can do those things without stress. But when I'm not centered, I kind of get to the end of the day and I haven't achieved a thing. It's crazy. But if I've done my 45 minutes of sort of circle drawing for my art, then I can do all that, and I'm mindfully in the moment. I'm mindfully alive.
That's lovely. So who's this Mindfully Alive retreat for?
It's basically for anybody who is creative. there are going to be people there who are interested in selling. There are going to be people there who are just creative, who know that the way that they're living their life at this moment in time is stopping them create. So they want to have a way of getting back into flow, finding that motivation and managing some of those thought processes which stop you creating in the first place.
That's a big topic. There's a lot of people that I can think of right off the bat that really need this. And what can someone expect from this conference?
Okay, so what we're going to be doing is every day I'm going to be sending out an email to introduce you to one of our amazing speakers. You'll get a link. When you open that link, you will be taken to a video of myself and the presenter, and we'll basically be chatting for half an hour, because anything more than half an hour is taking up time of some of your precious time that you don't have. So in each of those interviews, there'll be kind of mini workshops, so you'll be able to take away a nugget or a technique or something that you can actively put in place after the event. Rather than just having questions and answers, there'll be something that you can do which could have the power to completely change the way that you view the situation you face at the moment. So that's my intention, is that it's not just more information. It's about being able to do something to change the situation that you face.
That's so insightful, Julie. There's so many times where I've gone to conferences and you hear so much that you're kind of swimming in information that you don't take action. And if you don't take action, then you've just kind of wasted that. So I think that's really insightful the way you're presenting it. And so how does this conference run? It's a little different.
I mean, in terms of what's happening is you basically will get an email every day over the period of the summit. So there'll be about 14 interviews that will be going out. So over a 2-week period, you'll get an email every day inviting you to come and listen to today's speaker. If you've missed somebody's presentation before, there'll be links that you can go back and find those presenters, and you'll have those emails anyway. The emails will stay up, the videos will stay up throughout the whole course of the event, so you can access them at any stage. And it's about you taking some time out for yourself, rather than all these things that we have to do and we must do and that we ought to do. This is about you taking some time out for yourself so that you can reconnect with who you are.
Absolutely. So how does somebody get involved and how do they join the conference?
Sure. I mean, it's really simple. There is a website that you need to go to, and it's basically mindfullyaliveretreat.com. If you head to that website, you'll find a little video of myself and an opt-in box. Just fill in your details and you will be sent all the information that you need to start. And then you'll receive an email every single day from myself saying, come and join us for the next video.
And how many days is the whole?
2 weeks, 14 days.
See, that makes sense. 2 weeks, one message a day. Man, that's taking in a lot of information and really getting the best of it and putting it into action. I love that. Wow, this is going to be great. Tell me a little bit about who's going to be speaking at the conference.
I have a wide variety of different people. So let me tell you a little bit about the folks who are with me. Obviously, yourself, you're going to be with me.
How exciting.
I am really excited about our interview. We were talking about money and how money affects kind of our ability to create, but also how you can actually go about making money as an artist, as a creative. And that is huge. And I think it's a piece that we often somehow seem to miss sometimes. So that's what we were talking about. So I'm going to be talking to a lady named Beth Banning. She is doing a presentation on connecting with your inner wisdom. And she was talking about how you can connect with your own sense of how things could be, should be, and take that step forward rather than living in that place of worry and of stress. How you can connect with the energy, your own energy, and make some good decisions. Ashley James taught me a technique which literally in a matter of minutes completely sorted out some huge stress. I have unfortunately had to go to the inquest into my aunt's death, and it was the day after we recorded, and not surprisingly I was really stressed. But the technique, within 15 minutes, I was like, whoa, I'm not stressed anymore. That's incredible.
Mm.
We talk. Somebody called Stacia is going to be talking to us. She is looking at how clothes affect our state of mind and how that affects us and how we choose our clothing and how we can affect our mood and our attention throughout the whole day by what we just choose to wear, and how you can have a 10-minute sort of mindfulness session first thing in the morning as you put your clothes on, and how powerful that can be in how you actually relate to yourself. It was really interesting. Jane Font is going to be talking about finding creativity when you're stuck. Catherine Dre is talking about the rhythm of creativity, so that we have ebbs and flows within our creativity, and it's really interesting. We have Kathy Barbara, who is talking about, we called it ideas from the pressure cooker. So the idea that sometimes you just have to create and there's nothing you can do about it, because she's a teacher, she's an art teacher. So how do you find ideas when you have no choice? You have to find ideas. So you can see we're talking to a large number of people around kind of different aspects of being creative.
This is fascinating. I think a lot of times when we think of a creative person, they're so immersed in their craft. Videographers who that's all they do. They live and breathe, travel the world and do that. But then you think of the hometown photographer who has this most gorgeous Instagram of their collections of creativity. I think sometimes we look for the big things instead of looking at those little things we can do to be creative. I love how the retreat is actually pulling in on all of these different elements. Sounds like there's going to be some options for pretty much everyone in tapping into their new levels of creativity.
That's what I want it to be. This isn't about selling your work and being an entrepreneur. This is about how you connect with who you are. Because for me, there's something really powerful that happens. As I said, I'm an occupational therapist by training. And what happens is when we're stressed, we're kind of in left brain. And that's where our left brain worries about the future. Our left brain ruminates about all the things that have gone wrong in the past. Our left brain is the analytical one, is the problem solver. And we really need our left brain. But our right brain is where our creativity comes from. It's where we're centered. It's where we have flow. It's where the motivation comes from. And what happens is when we get stressed, we end up completely stuck in that left brain problem-solving mode, which is fab. But we miss that connection to ourselves. We miss that creativity. So everything that we're talking about for me is about how we can re-engage with that flow, with that creativity, so that we can actually do the things that we love to do that make us feel good as human beings. And if you choose to sell that, that's amazing. But for me, this is about how we can feel good as human beings, how we can just truly be ourselves and live a life that we love.
Julie, I've heard you say, sell your art, not your soul. And for someone who's on the fence about, I don't know, this retreat, I'm just not, I do my crafts, I do my thing, I scrapbook, I do my stuff, whatever it is that they do in their regular routine, and they're not sure this is for them, what would you say to that person?
This isn't about selling. This is about you connecting with your art, you connecting with your craft, you connecting and enabling you to do your creativity in the good times and in the bad times, rather than it just being something that happens, that you do a burst for kind of 2 or 3 weeks and then suddenly it sits aside for a month or so, and then you come back and you've lost some of that muscle memory, so it's hard to get back into it. And it's like, this is about how you can kind of have that creativity as a part of everything that you do. And sell your art, not your soul, for me, is about being authentically who you are. So if you are somebody and you're a hobbyist and you don't want to sell your art, why would you need to? Your authentic you is just making because you love it. If you're somebody who you want to maybe have a small business on the side because that will then fund your creating more, well, that's authentically who you are. And then there's some tips and some techniques that we can look at so that you can break even. But also, when you start to sell, there is almost, for me, a responsibility that we have to the whole art community, so that you actually charge what you're worth, rather than I've got another job so I don't have to worry about getting the money in, but actually charge what you're worth, because what you've created has value. What you've created has something of who you are in it. And actually, that has value, regardless of what it looks like. It has value because you created it. You spent time with it. You have loved it. So it's about putting a monetary value on it that really shows its worth.
Mm.
And then there'll be people who are entrepreneurs who happen to use art, and that's as what they're selling. And for those guys, it's about how we can boost you to be the best that you can be. So how you can be in flow and how you can really make your business really, really ping to the next level, really.
So excellent. So Julie, how can people find you?
Okay, so you can find me obviously through the retreat website. My personal website is juliemerritt.com. And what you'll find there is you'll find the connection to some of the coaching that I do, and you'll find some of my most recent artwork, which are basically my morning meditations, really.
Lovely. Man, I'm excited about the Mindfully Alive retreat. I really think it's going to help a lot of people. Thank you so much for including me and for telling our audience about it.
I am really honored that you have taken the time to share this, because for me, I know that this will make a real difference for people. And for anybody who wants to sign up and join, I would just really love you to share the time with you, because this could make a huge difference for you. And that's all that I want, is for you to be able to live a life that you love.
Julie Merritt, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
Don't forget, you can join us by going to the link in the show notes, Mindfully Alive Retreat, and signing up, getting all the information there. I love doing this show. I love having you part of my life. I love sharing with you. If there's someone who needs just a little lift, just a little insight, just a little cheerleader on their side, on their shoulder, remind them about 5 minutes for you. Hey, you have a great week. I'll talk to you soon.